Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we explore the fascinating world of coins, currency, and valuable treasures hiding in your pockets. Today, we're diving deep into the coin that most of us take for granted, the humble one dime. But let me tell you, there's more to this tiny silver piece than meets the eye. Stay tuned because some of these dimes are worth thousands of dollars and you might even have one at home right now. The dime is the 10-cent coin of the United States. It's the smallest in both size and thickness among all American coins in circulation today. Despite its size, the dime carries immense value when we talk about rare editions and historical coins. The word dime comes from the Latin word decimus, meaning tenth. That's right, the dime represents 1/10 of a US dollar. But while the value seems small, certain dimes have been auctioned for tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's go back in time. The dime has been around since the very beginning of American coinage. It was first authorized by the Coinage Act of 1792, and the very first dime was struck in 1796. That coin was made of nearly 90% silver, just like many other early American coins. The early designs included the draped bust and the capped bust dimes. Later came the seated Liberty dimes from 1837 to 1891. These are beautifully detailed coins with Lady Liberty seated holding a shield. Then came the Barber dime from 1892 to 1916, named after its designer Charles E. Barber. But the most iconic dime came next, the Mercury dime, minted from 1916 to 1945. It features the winged Liberty head, often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury. These dimes are now among the most sought-after collectibles. In 1946, right after President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away, the U.S. Mint introduced the Roosevelt dime, the design we still use today. It was a tribute to his leadership and his work in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio. From 1796 to 1964, dimes were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But after the Coinage Act of 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped using silver in dimes due to the rising cost of the metal. Since then, modern dimes are made of a clad composition, an outer layer of copper nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change means post-1965 dimes aren't worth much in silver content, but certain rare ones still carry high numismatic value. Here's the part you've been waiting for. Let's talk about some rare dimes that are worth a fortune. 1796 draped bust dime. This is the very first dime ever struck. If you find one in great condition, it can sell for over $100,000 at auction. 1894's Barber dime. Only 24 of these were ever minted, and only about 9 or 10 are known to exist today. One of these dimes sold for $2 million. Yes, $2 million for a single dime. 1942 overdate Mercury dime. Look closely at the date, and you'll see what looks like a 1942 stamped over a 1941. These era coins can fetch over $1,000 depending on the condition. 1968 No-S proof dime. This is a Roosevelt dime that was accidentally struck without the mint mark. Only a few are known to exist, and one of these sold for more than $40,000. $1982 No-P Roosevelt dime. That's right, the P mint mark is missing. This mistake happened at the Philadelphia Mint, and collectors will pay hundreds or even thousands for a clean specimen. So how can you spot one of these valuable dimes? Here are some tips. Check the date. Dimes before 1965 are usually silver and worth more than face value. Look for mint marks. Dimes without the usual P, D, or S mint mark can be rare era coins. Examine carefully for errors, overdates, double dies, off-center strikes, and other minting errors can make a dime worth hundreds or more. Use a magnifying glass or loupe. Some of the rare features are tiny. If you're serious about coin hunting, a good magnifier is a must. There are billions of dimes in circulation today, but very few people ever take a close look at them. While most are worth only 10 cents, some could be your ticket to serious cash. Imagine finding a dime in your pocket change that's worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Always check your change, especially coins from older rolls from the bank or pocket change from a vending machine. You never know when you might find a treasure hiding in plain sight. The dime may be small, but its history is rich, and its value can be enormous if you find the right one. From silver dimes to era coins, from Roosevelt to Mercury, the dime is a coin that deserves a second look. So next time you see a dime lying around, don't ignore it. Pick it up, check the date, inspect the details. It might just change your life. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more awesome coin videos, and comment below if you've ever found a rare dime or other valuable coin. You could be holding history in your hands. Welcome back to the channel, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving deep into a small but mighty piece of American history, the $1 coin. You might walk past it, toss it in your drawer, or not give it much thought at all. But this tiny silver disc holds a massive legacy, hidden value, and an incredible story of transformation. So grab your coin jars and get ready, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a dime the same way again. The dime is one of the oldest coins in U.S. history, with roots going all the way back to 1796, just a few years after the U.S. Mint was established in 1792. The word dime comes from the Latin word decimus, meaning tenth, because the dime is 1/10 of a U.S. dollar. The very first dimes were made of almost pure silver and featured a design known as the draped bust, followed by the capped bust, and eventually the seated liberty. These coins weren't just money. They were symbols of a growing nation, each one struck by hand and circulated by pioneers, merchants, and early Americans shaping history. Over the centuries, the dime has gone through several design changes, each telling its own chapter of American life. In 1916, the U.S. Mint introduced one of the most beloved designs, the winged Liberty head, better known as the Mercury dime. This beautiful coin was produced until 1945, and collectors adore it for its elegant imagery and classic Art Deco style. If you find one today, check the date. Some Mercury dimes, like the 1916 D, can be worth thousands of dollars. After the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1945, the dime was redesigned once more. In 1946, the Roosevelt dime was born, and it's still the design we use today. Roosevelt was honored not only for his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II, but also for his role in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to combat polio. From its early years until 1964, dimes were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. This gave them real precious metal value. But in 1965, due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint made a big change. Dimes were now produced using a clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. Today's modern dimes may not be made of silver, but older silver dimes still carry a value based on the current price of silver. Even in worn condition, they're often worth far more than 10 cents. So, what dime should you be looking for? Let's talk value. 1916 D Mercury dime. Only around 264,000 of these were minted. If you find one in good shape, it could be worth over $1,000, even more in uncirculated condition. 1942 over 41 Mercury dime, a rare era coin that can fetch hundreds or thousands. 1975 No-S proof Roosevelt dime, an extremely rare modern dime, one sold at auction for over $400,000. Even common silver dimes from before 1965 can be worth $2 to $3 each, just for their silver content. That means a handful of old dimes could be worth a small fortune. Despite its small size, the dime plays a huge role in the American economy. Billions of Roosevelt dimes have been minted since 1946. In fact, the U.S. Mint has produced over 125 billion Roosevelt dimes to date. That's right, over 125 billion. If you stack them up, they would reach the moon and back several times. And even though most dimes today are worth exactly 10 cents, millions of older and rare dimes are still out there in circulation, hiding in pockets, jars, and old piggy banks. That's why coin collectors, or numismatists, are always on the hunt. The next valuable dime might just be hiding in your spare change. So how do you know if you're holding on to a fortune? Here are a few tips. Always check the date and mint mark. Look for dimes from before 1965, especially those with a D or S mint mark. Use a magnifying glass to look for errors like doubling, missing mint marks, or unusual features. Keep an eye out for proof coins, which have a mirror-like finish and were never meant for circulation. Store your finds in a coin flip or holder to protect their condition and value. In today's world of digital wallets and tap to pay, you might wonder, is the dime still relevant? Absolutely. The dime may be small, but it's still used in everyday life, from vending machines to laundromats to toll booths. And its symbolic value as a reminder of Roosevelt's fight against polio and his leadership makes it more than just currency. Plus, collecting dimes is a fun, affordable way to start a coin collection. Whether you're young or old, a beginner or an expert, dime collecting connects you to the past in a truly hands-on way. So the next time you see a dime, don't ignore it. That tiny coin could be a piece of history, a silver treasure, or even a 5-figure jackpot in disguise. Thanks for watching, and if you learned something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories from across America's rich numismatic past. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare or silver dime, and tell us what coin we should cover next. Until next time, keep checking your change, because one dime could change everything.